The last platform. The storm had only just begun when Elias stepped off the late-night local and onto Blackwell Station, a place he'd never heard of, and certainly never meant to stop at. The train doors shut behind him before he could turn back, the conductor inside staring ahead as though he didn't see Elias at all. Lightning cracked across the sky. The station was old, not abandoned, but forgotten. The paint on the signs had peeled away, leaving ghostly remnants of letters. Platform lights flickered with the unsteady life of dying fireflies. The air smelled like wet iron and mildew. Elias looked around. Mara. Jonas. Ria. Where is everyone? They had boarded together. They should have gotten off together. But he was alone. Or at least, he thought he was, until he heard the first footstep echo across the platform. Tap, tap, tap. Slow. Too slow to be human. Too deliberate to be the wind. Hello. Elias called, voice trembling despite himself. Silence answered, and then a loudspeaker crackled overhead. Last train arrives in 5 minutes. Please stand behind the yellow line. The voice was distorted, stretched, like something old was being forced to sound new. The announcement repeated, stuck like a broken record. There was no train scheduled, and he knew it. He tried the exit gates. Locked. The ticket booth was empty, but a mug of coffee sat on the counter, still warm. A chair behind the glass was pulled out, as if someone had just stood up. But the station was empty. Thunder growled overhead. Then he heard a voice behind him. Elias. Finally. He turned. Jonas was standing under the flickering platform light, his jacket soaked, eyes wide and glassy. Where did you go? Elias demanded. I thought you were still. Didn't you hear? Jonas interrupted, voice flat, too calm. We're not supposed to be here. Elias blinked. What? What are you talking about? Before Jonas could answer, another voice echoed down the tracks, a scream. Mara. Elias and Jonas ran toward it, down the length of the platform, past shuttered kiosks and broken vending machines. The storm raged harder, wind forcing rain sideways. They found her near the old station map, trembling, staring at something nobody else could see. Don't let it touch me, she whispered. Let what touch you? Elias asked. She didn't answer with words, only pointed at the reflection in the cracked glass of the map display. In the reflection, next to Mara, stood a tall shadow figure, but when Elias turned, there was no one there. The reflection moved, even though nothing stood in the space it mimicked. Jonas backed away. Nope. I'm not doing this. I'm not. The loudspeaker cut him off. Last train arrives in 3 minutes. All passengers, prepare to board. Something changed in Jonas's face, something hollow, resigned. It's calling us, he muttered. We shouldn't have come back here. Back. Elias repeated. We've never been here before. Jonas stared at him like the truth was too painful to say. Then Ria appeared from the far corridor, her face pale as a corpse. You don't remember, she said, voice shaking. Elias, we have been here. All of us. This is where we died. A sudden, unnatural stillness filled the station. Even the rain outside seemed to halt. Elias laughed, but the sound felt wrong in his throat. Okay, that's not funny. You were on the train, Ria said, stepping closer. But not tonight. A year ago. Same line. Same time. Electrical failure on the tracks. Derailment. Fire. She pointed at the opposite platform, and by the next flash of lightning, Elias saw them. 4 figures, burned, broken, charred silhouettes, standing across the tracks, swaying under the dim station lights. Their empty eye sockets stared toward Elias and the others. Their clothes were the same. Their shapes, familiar. It was them. Their corpses. No, Elias whispered. That's impossible. I'm alive. I feel. He looked down at his own hands. They were flickering. Like bad film frames. Like something struggling to exist. The air around him seemed to glitch, sounds distorting, colors draining. The shadows in the corners thickened, creeping forward. "We never got off the train," Ria said, tears finally falling. "We died. But this place, this station, won't let us move on. It keeps calling us back. Every year. Same night. Same storm. Same arrival. Until we remember," Jonas murmured. "Until we accept it," Mara finished, still staring at the reflection of the shadow beside her. A rumble shook the platform. Lights flared on the rails. A train was coming, but not like any train on Earth. Headlights glowed a sickening, ghostly white. The metal screeched as if it were made of bone. Windows were smashed, blackened by fire. Passenger silhouettes inside were frozen in mid-scream. The loudspeaker announced calmly, "Last train arrives in 1 minute. All souls must board." Elias backed away. "I'm not getting on that thing." "You already did," Ria said softly. "We all did. We just keep reliving the moment before it takes us back." Jonas turned to Elias, a sad smile on his face. "We don't belong in the world anymore. We're just echoes." Mara's voice was barely a whisper. "The shadow, it's the conductor. It collects the ones who won't accept they're dead." The footsteps began again. Tap, tap, tap. Coming up behind Elias. Slow, deliberate. Icy breath touched the back of his neck. He didn't turn, but he saw it in the glass pane beside him. A tall, rotted figure in a conductor's uniform, empty sockets glowing with faint, unnatural light. It lifted a skeletal hand and pointed at the arriving train. Board. Elias's body started moving on its own. Legs trembling, but no longer controlled by him. The others followed, like puppets dragged by invisible strings. The train doors opened with a sound like a dying animal. Inside, rows of burned seats waited, and in every seat, a charred version of someone who had once ridden that doomed train. Elias struggled. No, this can't be real." Ria looked at him with heartbreaking sympathy. "It becomes real when you stop fighting it." Jonas exhaled, defeated. "See you next year." Mara took one step inside, and vanished, sucked into the seat she had died in. Jonas followed. Ria followed. Only Elias remained, gripping the door frame, refusing. Thunder cracked. The conductor's hand landed on his shoulder, ice cold, heavy, full of the weight of the dead. His last thought was not a scream, but a memory. Fire. Metal screeching. Glass exploding. Mara crying, his hand slipping from hers as the world turned black. Then, he was seated inside the train, staring out the window, watching the living version of himself standing on the platform, confused, unaware, waiting for the train that would never take him home. The train pulled away. The station lights dimmed. The loudspeaker crackled one last time. "Last train has departed. Next cycle begins in 1 year." And Elias finally understood the truth. The railway station wasn't haunted. It was Hell's terminal. A place where the dead never left. Because they never believed they had arrived.